Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio looks good. Let's bounce, boo. Going with the crew. Make me feel new. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Practical Theism. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that kind of is at the root of any kind of religion or Christianity or belief system, and it's this idea of faith. Now we need to understand what faith is and what it's not. You know, I grew up with this really kind of awkward misunderstanding, which I think a lot of people do, and it's this concept of blind faith. Like, when you don't understand something, you just need to accept it on faith, particularly in areas of religion. You just got to accept this belief, this doctrine, this whatever on faith, without any kind of credible reason for it. But there are obviously a lot of issues with that, because first of all, you should never just accept something just to accept it. If you have questions about it. Granted, there's sometimes people have really strong faith and they don't need a lot of evidence to believe in something, but lots of people, especially I would suggest in today's day and age, they want and are yearning for credible reasons to really defend their faith. So we have to get out of this idea that faith should be blind. Like, you don't have to have reasons for what you believe, because you really do. And here's the best part, especially in areas of Christianity, there are really good reasons for faith. You just got to understand what they are. So when you have this idea of blind faith, oftentimes skeptics of religion or skeptics of Christianity, what they'll say is, well, that's just, Christianity's credulous. It's superstition. You know, it's not based on any foundational reasonability. That couldn't be further from the truth. So to avoid all that, we have to reshape how we approach this concept and this topic of faith. I heard Bishop Robert Barron say this before he was bishop, actually, in part of my reversion to the faith. Faith isn't what he would say sacrificium intellectus, or whatever the Latin is. Faith is not sacrificing the intellect, but what faith is faith is taking your reason and your intellect to the furthest extent that you can and trusting what lies beyond. Let me say that again. Faith is taking your intellect and reason to the furthest extent you can and trusting what lies beyond. Think about this. Even if you were to accept something without doing your own investigation, what are you usually accepting it on? You're trusting the person who's telling you it. So you have some basis or foundation to believe in that. It's the trust that you have between that person. At its core, faith is trust. Faith is trust in what somebody has told you, that it's true. When you take reason to its furthest extent, you're trusting that the reasonableness of what you're looking at is true, based off all the evidence that you are able to obtain. That's where faith comes into play. Faith at its core is trust. So a few examples of this. You go to a restaurant, which most of you probably do. You go to a restaurant and you're getting food. You're taking it on faith that your server's not poisoning your food, and that server's not spitting in your food or doing funny things with your food. Maybe they are. But you're taking it on faith that they're not. That's why you would eat at a restaurant like that. Now, what's that based on? Is that based on just some superstition, blind faith? You have no reason to have that expectation or that faith and that understanding? No, well, you take it on the reviews of the restaurant. You take it on past experiences. Maybe you've eaten there before. You take it on experiences of others. Your friends have done that as well. They've had experiences there where they're not poisoned. They're still alive, so that's pretty cool. Your faith is based on reasonable expectations and understandings based off a myriad of different areas. So take another example, flying on a plane. You fly on a plane, you take off, you land, you have faith that your plane's not going to blow up and in the sky and all of a sudden vaporize into thin air. You have belief that your landing's going to be smooth and you're not going to crash. Where does that faith come from? It's not blind. It's not like you don't have any reason to believe that. You do. You just subconsciously don't even think about it. You're taking it on past experiences. You're taking it on you have flown before and you've had that expectation or that experience. You're taking on experience of others, other people that you know have flown and they didn't blow up in midair or crash. You're taking it on trust with the captain, that the captain's experienced enough, that the airline's experienced enough. They have a reputation of taking off and landing without crashing or blowing up in midair. There's a faith component, but it's based on reason to get you to that point of believing and trusting what's happening at that point in time. You know, Hebrews 11 actually has a really solid definition of what faith is. It says, faith is confidence in the things we hope for and assurance in the things not seen. As St. Augustine said in his Confessions, and I'm going to read it here, to the effect of, reason can't reach really a full understanding of God on his own. If you fully understood him, well, then it wouldn't be God. Because God isn't able to be fully comprehended by our finite intellects and our finite reason, and by reason alone. There is an element of faith because God is pure spirit. We can't see him, feel him, touch him. We have to take our reason to the furthest extent that we can and believe and trust what those conclusions are pointing us to. So recap, what is faith and what is it not? Faith is not some credulous, superstitious mumbo-jumbo that you just believe blindly. Faith, at its core, is trust. Faith uses reason in the most intimate way possible. Faith takes reason and intellect to the furthest extent that you possibly can, and you trust what lies beyond. It's not sacrificing your intellect. It's not getting rid of reason. God gave us reason for a reason. He gave us reason so that we can understand as much as we possibly can what God has gifted us with, but he still needs an element of belief. He wants us to trust him. He wants us to trust him with what he's given us. He's given us reason, he's given us logic, these tools that we can use to get to know him better. But there comes an element of trust, which is what he wants from us. He wants us to trust him fully. And we use our reason to get us to that extent, and then we trust God for what lies behind. From all of us here at Practical Theism, I'm Joshua Smith. We'll catch you next time.